So the question is, because I see a lot of you are not wearing uniform, should students be required to wear a uniform, and should the school have a dress code? So you will be against and you will be for it, okay? But he gets to start first. You have a minute to think about your response. I mean, less than a minute. Go ahead. What would I say is the toughest part of my job? Dealing with different personalities. You have to be a people person, or you have to be very patient, because people will come at you, different ages, whether it's the students who are young or adults, any colleagues or management. You have to deal with people's stuff all the time. So that is a big requirement. That's what being an educator is about learning how to deal with different levels of people, different backgrounds and cultures. But it's exciting. It's exciting. We have a lot of events organized by the students. We have a podcast that they record. We have a student website, a student-run and created website. We have a digital magazine, and we host events around the school. So for me, learning, the idea I've always had, I hated school growing up because school was so boring. So coming into this space and being able to change that, right, to make school more exciting, to make school more engaging, and it's actually relevant because the students that I interact with, they're into filming or website design or journalism or whatever career. So to show them that there are a world of possibilities. So that's what excites me about being an educator. We had a meeting with Dr. Majid. He's the school superintendent, and he moved to the school earlier this year. So as someone who is a senior at the school, he's very supportive of what I do. Part of my job is dealing with children's futures, and the career possibilities, linking them to colleges and career guidance counselors. Then we moved on to the scene where we were recording a podcast. So the Al Fosan Student Council is something that I chair, and of course I work with a lot of talented students and people at the school who are supportive. So having their voices heard on the podcast, they do a lot of cool stuff as well. Now, you also recently went to China. Now, how was it? I remember you missed quite a lot of your classes.
Yeah, it was a unique experience to me because it was my first trip out of Saudi Arabia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
okay.
it was to China. I went there for work. I didn't went as a tourist. We had a conference, the Saudi-China conference in China, in Beijing. I was there to represent our company, Jazz, as a trainee, as an internship, and I was the youngest there. Yeah, and I represented not just the country, also the school.
One of the students went on a trip to China. You know what I mean? He traveled with the Saudi embassy, and that was impressive. Another student won a global competition in language. He came third representing the country. We've had students, and they all come from different backgrounds. Saudi Arabia, from different areas, Pakistan, Sudan, Americas, and the UK and that. So it's always exciting to hear what they have to say and their experiences of Saudi, from that age. And then we moved on to the IT lab, where I was with the magazine department, and we were going through the school magazine. So it's a digital magazine that they initiated themselves. They write the articles themselves. They take the media and the photos, and they design and structure it. So it's exciting to see how they think and how they interpret their lives in Riyadh and Saudi Arabia. Sports is a very big part of what we do at the school. We were able to start a soccer team, or football, some people call it. handball team and basketball teams. So it's exciting to see how the students themselves can become involved in those type of activities. After that, we headed to the gym. Now, it's something I'm trying to get back into a lot more because I'm finding that it helps with the stress of dealing with, living in a very complex city like Riyadh. But it's also good, for stress, de-stressing and that. I meet a lot of people at the gym to make friends, and I enjoy the space. I enjoy it as an outlet. I like that particular gym because it's open 24 hours, so I can go at any time. My sleeping schedule here is a little bit weird, so just normally as a community, people are up till the wee hours of the morning, and that's a time where you could either go or during a lull like today. Key of succeeding in Saudi Arabia, first it's the understanding of what do you mean by success. There are people who are fleeing from war-torn countries and they're finding refuge in Saudi Arabia, so that is a success in and of itself. There are people who come here from impoverished countries and they work migrant labor jobs and they're able to start a business or work somewhere. That is success. And then there are people who are in this type of industry in a country like Saudi Arabia, which that too is a type of success, right? So the understanding of what success means to you, I guess, is the key. And that's a long-winded answer, but it requires the ability to be open and to question, what you're doing, with your life and what you're doing here. Why are you here? If you're not comfortable here, if you're not happy, what is it that makes you want to continue, right? And everyone has different reasons. Being a black African in Saudi Arabia, which isn't really a big thing, but it is kind of a thing because there are so many misconceptions people have about Africans to begin with, but also South Africans in particular. The fact that I teach English here, it's not something unique to me because there are a lot of people who teach a variety of subjects. But working with an American curriculum and having to learn things like that, a different educational system where people have aspirations here to go study abroad, right? That is a unique experience, and how people think around education. A lot of money is spent on education in this country alone. Their parents are very much involved in the careers of their kids. So that's a unique experience because I've learned a lot just from being in this industry, right? What do I think has been the best thing to happen to me in Saudi Arabia? The people that I've met here, my friends who have become my family, so to speak, and just meeting the people here, right? Because it's one thing reading about the country or hearing about the country or watching it from movies. It's quite another to actually be here and interact with people from different walks of life and different levels of society even, so that's a major thing for me. I love the fact that it's pretty much a 24-hour city, Riyadh that is. People are active at different hours of the night. I would miss, the convenience of things here, from, I don't know, the experiences going out and it's so digitally advanced, which a lot of people are unaware of. You can do everything from your phone. It's a pretty nice life living here. It's become a second home because I've been here for such a long time. What is something about Saudi Arabia that I'd like to tell my family and friends about? It's worth the visit. It's worth getting to know the actual culture and history and tradition. And it's worth trying it out for the fun and entertainment side of it. A lot of people think it's a serious place. It is. And as a foreigner coming here, that can be scary. But it is pretty much a very fun place to live. There's a lot of things, to do here, regardless of what your appetites are. You can find a lot, especially in a place like Riyadh, right? And you can be yourself in a lot of ways. Molweni, ndinguNelisa Monakali Fikelepi and ndisuka eMzantsi, sibiza iSouth Africa xa sithetha, and ndiphuma from eKapa, ndihlala apha eRiyadh, Saudi Arabia, and ibinto emandi uba ndibe lapha kule program, ndenze le show and ndithethe nabantu about impilo yam apha eSaudi Arabia and about being a South African ehlala apha ne-experiences zam. So i-message yam uba ndingatsho is that if uhlala ungumntu ojonga phambili naphezulu, awusoze ungaphumeli.